noon.
It was another quiet night at the office. No phone calls, no messages, nothing but junk mail and overdue bills to keep me company. Seems nobody wants to hire a real private dick anymore, a professional like me. A guy who does the detective work nobody else wants to do. A guy who wears hats and walks around in a black and white world. I began contemplating a more profitable line of work, like politics.
We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
Afternoon, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, and you can join the conversation for the next hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. Our text line is up and running at 617-297-8388. That's 617-297-8388. You can also listen to us 24/7 on the TuneIn app. That's right. WCRN, along with thousands of other radio stations, stream 24/7 on the TuneIn app, so you can take us anywhere. Tell Alexa to play WCRN. She'll do it. No questions asked. I also stream my show on my social media platforms as well as the station. I'm at Joe Mangi Show, M-A-N-G-I, Facebook, X, Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, and we do broadcast or stream it on the Rumble channel in real time. So you can go to the Rumble channel as well. It is later loaded up, and you can always watch it on the new streaming channel, Twitch TV, which is merged with the AUN TV network. But that's about 12 terrestrial towers, but they're all Nevada to San Francisco area. It doesn't do us any good here, but just go to Twitch TV on any of your streaming devices, and you'll be good to go. Today, behind the glass, flying the board today, he'll get you set up and into this conversation at 508-871-7000. So here we are. We bring you hopefully some common sense conversation for the common sense citizen. It's Thursday, the 20th, a month. January 20th. It's a month.
February.
And talk about Trump.
It's amazing.
And it feels like we've been watching this administration for a lot longer than a month. I don't know what it feels like, but it certainly a lot has happened.
Like the third year of it.
Yeah, it's like we're halfway through the administration, and he has gotten a lot done. Now, yeah, there's a lot of issues with these executive orders because they're being challenged, of course, left and right. But wait till you hear some of the stuff coming out from this. Now, a lot of this has to be codified with Congress. They need to turn some of this into law so it can't be undone by executive order down the road. If the Democrats don't get their act together, they may not win another national election anytime soon. But we've got a lot to pack into there and unbuckle or unpack it today. So let's get into some things that we'll touch on. We can also dive in anything you want to bring up at 508-871-7000. Now, this killed me. Ted, I don't know if you saw this. This Jasmine Crockett, she's a Democratic Congressman. I think she's Texas. Democrat from Texas. And folks, it never ceases to amaze me how the left views the American people. Because if you're a conservative, if you support President Trump, if you dare to question the narrative, they think you're stupid. They think that you're just clueless and you're a cult and a racist. You know all the drill. So seriously, it's not me saying that. It's actually Representative Jasmine Crockett saying it on national television. This week, Crockett was on The View, and we all know how awesome that show is. It's awesome for content, right? It really is, especially for people like Gutfeld. He's a well of content for him. But that liberal safe space where common sense goes to die, and she outright said that Trump's popularity is rising because Americans just, quote, aren't that smart. Now, she thinks you don't have the intelligence to vote the right way. Imagine that arrogance. So let's break that down. According to Crockett, Trump's massive 2024 victory of 77.3 million votes, a clear mandate from the people, happened because we're dumb. His 53% approval rating right now is just proof that we need, better education? Or just to listen to The View more? I don't know what that means. No, Jasmine, We don't need more indoctrination. We need more woke brainwashing. We don't need that. We need leaders who respect the people who actually put them in office. Ted, you want to know?
Did you hear what the governor of New York said to the populace? I
Hochul?
don't care. She said, I don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah. They are so used to just not losing races and not being questioned by the media. We'll get into something with the amazing on the Sam Britton thing. Someone at CNN had no idea who Sam Britton was. She's asking about nuclear waste question. If you don't recall, Sam Britton is the cross-dressing, I think non-binary, I don't know, but he's all over the internet for puppy play. He would wear the dress and the lips, like cross-dress. I don't know exactly what his thing is. You know Sam Britton? So he's the one. Oh, did you? He's the one. I mean, he was stealing women's luggage from the luggage thing in the airports. And he was the deputy secretary of nuclear waste disposal or some bizarre thing, a high-level government job. How did he pass an FBI background check? Oh, listen to that question. FBI background check in the same question, right? Well, here's the problem with the modern Democratic Party. They don't even pretend to like you anymore. They think you should rule you, not serve you. They really think that they're elevated above us. They forget that we, the people, employ members of Congress. Crockett even went on to say that soon we're all going to understand the consequences of our supposed stupidity. And these are quotes from her. People don't understand, but you will understand when these hospitals in rural America start closing down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security. You will understand when your Medicaid or Medicare goes away. As planes continue to fall out of the sky. Okay, let me count the things wrong with that statement on its own. First of all, Donald Trump is talking about no taxes for your Social Security, which makes perfect sense, by the way. And he's preserving Medicare and Medicaid. And what DOGE is doing, finding the level. I mean, we've got people 150, 180, 200 plus years old collecting Social Security checks. I have talked about Social Security over and over again. I'm going to run through it quickly again. The Congress, like her, have raided the Social Security multiple times. And I know that the Clinton administration or Bill Clinton likes to brag about they balanced the budget back in the 90s because they raided Social Security. So the first thing you do with Social Security is all of the money that's ever been taken out of Social Security has to be returned to Social Security with the interest on it for the last 30 years. Then, like DOGE is looking at, Social Security is not taxpayer money. That's a fiduciary account. That is a trust. That is money that we've paid in over our working career. And then you take your benefit upon retirement age. That's all that should be coming out there. And as far as SSDI, yeah, that should come out of there too. SSI comes out of the Social Security fund, but SSI are for people who did not pay into it. So that's a welfare program. That should have to come out of taxes or another revenue source, not out of the money that working Americans have set aside. But we are paying people on SSI out of Social Security, and we're paying benefits to illegals who have never paid into the system whatsoever. They're not even legally recognized. Stop all of that, and that is what DOGE is looking at. So stop the draining of Social Security with any monies going out that are not as a result of the person getting it isn't connected to paying in. And there are people in SSDI getting Social Security, but they're paid into it for the first 10, 20, maybe 30 years of working before they went on disability. That's fine. But take SSI out and take all the other money coming out, and that will preserve the fund. We have thousands of baby boomers retiring every day. And that number is, after it peaks, it will just start to get smaller because the birth rate had dropped. So we gotta pay attention to that. But to preserve Social Security, it's a few moves, and it will extend it for decades to come with no problem. And stop stealing from it. If you raided a private pension fund, you'd be going to jail.
You know, we hear about all these stories where wealthy parents get into hard times and they raid their children's trust.
Yeah.
And they're
happens a lot.
vilified
Mhm.
because they're destroying the future. That's what happened here.
That's what Congress has done. That's Congress done. If a company, if an executive at General Motors or Dynamics or whatever borrowed some money out of the pension fund, that's a fiduciary account, they would go to prison or should go to prison. Congress has to replace that. So this is what she says. Oh, and all right, the other thing, falling out of the skies. When they started to try to blame the Toronto air crash on Trump, it's just, how do you respond to that stupid? It's not even in the same country. And then the FAA came out and said 100% that the cuts made to the FAA is this small percentage. None of it has to do with safety whatsoever. None of the cuts that are coming to the FAA under Trump has anything to do with it. And the guy has only been president as of today for a month. So whatever issues are goes long before him, maybe long before his first term for that matter. They'll get to the bottom of it, but we just had two little planes collide too. So this has not been a good few months in the aviation industry.
Well, it's important to recognize that airport out in Arizona was
Get
not
closer to the
monitored.
mic, please. Yeah. I can't. You're a little low.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Just move the mic a little closer. Anyway, people don't understand the hospitals. That's the other. The reason hospitals have been closing, we've had an incredible number or amount of people who don't have insurance because they're illegally here, especially hospitals in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, that they just have gone bankrupt because they have to treat people whether or not they have insurance or money when they come in. So the stuff that she says, there's more on this, but we got to take our first break here on the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. Join the conversation at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. All right, folks, stick with us. I'll be back on the other side in 2 and 10, folks.
Looking for guidance as you face a future on Social Security? It's hard to figure out on your own. But MedicareAdvisors.com is a completely independent insurance agency specializing in Medicare insurance planning. We work with the top insurance companies so we can offer our clients the best coverage for them. We design plans with a focus on low costs, which we combine with personalized insurance advice aimed at helping our clients make better informed decisions. Russ Swallow is a certified senior advisor and a licensed insurance advisor. He's been helping clients with their health insurance needs since 1970. And after a failed attempt at retirement, he created the Medicare Advisors in 2014. Russ concluded that since Medicare is health insurance, he might as well put his almost 50 years of health insurance experience to good use, as 75,000 people reach age 65 in Massachusetts every year, and they can use some help. Call Russ today at 508-831-0805. Put his years of personal experience to work for you as you try to unravel the complexities of Social Security.
Every person is entitled to 30 fundamental human rights, and you only need to do one thing to enjoy all of them. Know them. Get your free human rights booklet today. Go to humanrights.com.
Polar Park is the place to play, so treat yourself to a private suite at the best ballpark in AAA. Suite rentals are the best way to enjoy a fully catered and climate-controlled experience at the park. Whether you choose to watch the game from inside of the suite or out in your seats, it's the ultimate experience for a special occasion. Visit WooSox.com or call 508-500-8888 to reserve your suite today.
Are you ready to transform your future? An online degree from Rivier University can help. Choose from programs like business, nursing, psychology, public health. Learn more at rivieraradio.com. That's rivieraradio.com.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the second segment of the Thursday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. Reminding you, I do stream live on Facebook, X, Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, and Rumble TV. So go check it out. My social media is Joe Mangi Show, M-A-N-G-I, Joe Mangi Show. 508-871-7000. You can join the conversation for the remainder of the hour at 508-871-7000. So we've got this representative, Jasmine Crockett, down in Texas, saying that we're just too stupid to understand, but we'll understand when everything goes to crap. What a lovely sentiment, huh? Vote for Trump and you deserve to suffer. That's their message. Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't, the Hitler hasn't happened, the end of democracy hasn't done it. Here's the kicker. Who's been in charge for the last 4 years? Who caused the inflation crisis? Who crippled our energy sector?
Social Democrats.
Who sent billions overseas while our own people struggled? It wasn't Trump. It was Biden and the radical left. Whoever was controlling Biden, let's face it, Biden wasn't making a lot of these decisions. We found out after he left office that they absolutely controlled access to him. And whoever they are around him, decided what he was allowed to know. Now we're saying Trump is pulling back the curtain on Zelensky in the Ukraine disaster. And I mean, talk about spending and sending billions overseas. Ukraine has been a deep pit for that. Trump is finally saying what we kind of known all along, and we weren't really allowed to talk about it because we would be pro-Russia if you questioned where all this money was going or how much it was going or what it was being used for. So this war, the one that's drained $350 billion from American taxpayers, the one where we've spent more than all of Europe combined, the one that never had to happen. It was all a big grift. I have said this, folks. It did not make sense. Because Joe Biden in 2014, which coincides with his retroactive pardons, by the way, if you haven't noticed that, was put in charge of the anti-corruption task force by Obama when he was vice president. And what happened? His son gets a seat on Burisma. They ask him for help because they're being investigated. And the prosecutor had retired. They brought the prosecutor out of retirement to clean everything up. And he was doing a good job. And then Biden goes over there after Obama, when asked for the $1 billion guarantee, he said, sure, but you guys are pretty much the corrupt capital of the world. Everybody knows it. So I'm going to send over this anti-corruption task force. Joe Biden's going to be in charge of it. If you can clean things up, and they pulled out the prosecutor, put him back to work, started prosecuting corporations, putting people in jail. Obama said, okay, you guys showed you cleaning things up. You know what? We'll do the $1 billion guarantee. Hey, Joe, go over there, tell them the good news. And what does Biden do when he gets over there? He leverages the $1 billion of your money, the guarantee, to fire the prosecutor looking into the company paying his son $83,000 a month, who's never been to Ukraine and who knows nothing about energy, oil, or gas.
Talk about fox in the hen house.
Totally.
I mean, down south, they call it an egg-sucking dog.
An egg-sucking dog. And then he brags about it on video, thinking that it's a cutesy, folksy story a politician tells of how he talk about quid pro quo. I mean, he racketeering. He was charging protection money to permissive. This is horrible. So think about this. So obviously, I've been saying all along, folks, let's follow this. I mean, who's the jamoke down in the Bahamas that the Ponzi scheme with the Bitcoin or the currency that just got sentenced? Sam, the chunky guy, he was a big Democrat. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Somebody on the text line is going to tell me the name I'm trying to get, but you know who I'm talking about, right? He's like 29, 30 years old, billionaire in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all kinds of money. He was donating money to the, coming over the wire, guys. Kash Patel is confirmed in the full Senate.
Can I use the applause?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kash Patel is confirmed. I thought it was just out of committee, but all right, good news. That's great news.
They had
actually.
the vote, and he got 52 to 47.
Yeah, didn't was it Collins who voted no? I think the only Republican. Yeah. Well, Kash Patel, there's a lot of not just FBI agents in the elite group, the upper echelon. There you go. Congratulations, Kash. That are a little nervous right now, but I think people all in the Beltway are nervous right now because he's going to follow. He did a lot.
Oh boy.
When he was now deputy or the chief of staff of national what was it? NAI, he was National Intelligence Agency or something. Point is, a lot of things. He knows where the skeletons are. This is going to be real interesting, and he's going to bring the FBI. The FBI is not the part of the it's part of the Justice Department, but they're not judges, right? They're supposed to be investigators, and they're supposed to be federal cops in essence, right? In common vernacular. They're not supposed to be deciding guilt and innocence. They're supposed to be doing investigations, following where the evidence goes, making the arrests where necessary, and then turning that, just like a police officer or a detective would, over to the DA for the prosecution, turn it over to the DOJ.
Yeah, that's the legal process.
That's how it's supposed to be. And he's going to make them go back to being cops, for lack of a better way of putting this. So congratulations to Kash Patel. Good. This is going to be between him and Pam Bondi. Yeah, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people very concerned.
Just starting.
I saw an article the other day talking about after Trump got sworn in, the spike in Google searches inside the Washington Belt area looking for lawyers, defense lawyers, has skyrocketed. So there's a lot of people who are now wondering who have been operating under the false security blanket of, I'm part of the Democratic Party, part of the cabal in here. They don't investigate us and they don't arrest us. They don't look for us. And now the unthinkable happened. Trump got back in, and some of them still don't understand why. And then you got Crockett over there saying this wonderful stuff. But Trump is finally saying what we kind of knew, and we weren't allowed to talk about it on this war. And it's good because I've said that it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then when you have Zelensky saying, we didn't get that much money. Are you kidding me? There needs to be a lot of accounting, forensic accounting here. Think about this, though, folks. Zelensky, who, by the way, was a second-rate comedian before he became president. He played Biden like a fiddle, this guy did. He milked us for hundreds of billions of dollars, and now, shocker, half of it's missing. What? He's claiming it hasn't come in. Yeah, what? Color me surprised. That's right. Half the money went to Ukraine. It's unaccounted for. And Zelensky, right, the so-called champion of democracy, he canceled elections. I mentioned this before in the show. It hasn't got a lot of play. But we're supposed to be defending democracy, and we didn't go ballistic over the fact that he canceled an election in Ukraine. So no accountability, no transparency, no incentive to end the war. It's a gravy train. And you see these articles. I'm just going to say the articles are out there. I don't know, but these multiple articles, Wall Street Journal and other publications talking about how members of his cabinet, generals and military officers have homes in California. Some of them lost them to the wildfires, and they're buying Bentleys and Rolls Royces. I don't know how much they pay their officers. I don't think our colonels or generals can well, maybe if all they did was buy the car, they might be able to afford one. I don't know, man. Meanwhile, who's really been calling the shots in Ukraine? It wasn't Biden, right? He barely was awake most of the time here. No, this war was pushed and managed by the U.S. intelligence community and foreign allies. It has to have been. Just this week, U.S. military drones originating from Ukraine attacked a Western-owned oil pipeline, not a Russian pipeline, a pipeline partly owned by American companies. Now, here's the question. Who authorized this? not Zelensky. He was in the UAE at the time. So who's making these decisions? Who's running this war behind the scenes? Same question, right? Who is running the Oval Office behind the scenes? We know for a fact it wasn't Joe Biden. We know for a fact, because now they've admitted it, that he's out of office, that they controlled access. We heard directly from former cabinet secretaries. They couldn't talk to him. They couldn't meet with them. If they went calling and looking for him, the chief of staff called back to chew them out, and then Biden would call with an apology. That's how Lloyd there, I mean, he ended up in the hospital in ICU, and Biden didn't even know it. Who was running the DOD at the time? So we all know the answer. The same unelected bureaucrats. Yeah, unelected. I know the left wants to get all over Elon Musk for not being elected, but they're okay with millions of unelected bureaucrats having access to all of our information and even deciding where your tax dollars go with no oversight. And even paying payees on the do not pay list. USAID was paying people that were on terrorist watch lists, terrorist no pay list. They were still getting checks cut from the American people. So the same unelected bureaucrats who lied to us about Iraq, who orchestrated the Russian hoax, who spy on American citizens while calling us threats to democracy. The intelligence community's fear of Trump and Putin. And that brings me to the bigger picture here. This is a full-blown panic happening inside Washington, inside the establishment right now. The intelligence agencies fear Trump and Putin forming a geopolitical alliance. Who was it that said, don't mess with the intelligence agencies, they'll mess you up every which way but Sunday? I think it was Schumer, maybe? One of them said something like that. And I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory. I'm talking about the reality of this. The left in the permanent war machine don't want peace. It's not good for business. They never did, because peace doesn't make money. War does. Conflict does. That's why they fought Trump every step and every time he tried to negotiate peace. That's why they're scrambling now, because Trump is about to cut through the corruption and put the end to this nonsense once and for all. So here we are, folks. The truth is coming out about Ukraine, the deep state, about the radical left's contempt for regular Americans, and they can't stand it. They call you stupid. They mock you. They tell you to just accept it the way it is. But guess what? You're not stupid. You see what's happening. You see the lies, the corruption, the grift. That's why Trump won in 2024. We're going to take a mid-show break, folks. We'll be back in 2 in 10. Stick with us.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Sherry Spear, and here's the latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. We're going to go with increasing clouds today. You're going to find it mostly dry as well, with highs in the upper 20s, lower 30s. Best chance for some snow is going to be along the coastline, and it's especially southeastern Mass. You know, a few flurries possible near the coast. Southeastern Mass, Cape and Islands, that's where we're going for about 1 to 3 inches of snow from the afternoon into the evening hours today. We're going to be bright and breezy across the board tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Sherry Spear, and you can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
Headline news, weather, and local information central to your day on Radio Central 830 WCRN.
Looking for guidance as you face a future on Social Security? It's hard to figure out on your own. But MedicareAdvisors.com is a completely independent insurance agency specializing in Medicare insurance planning. We work with the top insurance companies so we can offer our clients the best coverage for them. We design plans with a focus on low costs, which we combine with personalized insurance advice aimed at helping our clients make better informed decisions. Russ Swallow is a certified senior advisor and a licensed insurance advisor. He's been helping clients with their health insurance needs since 1970. And after a failed attempt at retirement, he created the Medicare Advisors in 2014. Russ concluded that since Medicare is health insurance, he might as well put his almost 50 years of health insurance experience to good use, as 75,000 people reach age 65 in Massachusetts every year, and they can use some help. Call Russ today at 508-831-0805. Put his years of personal experience to work for you as you try to unravel the complexities of Social Security.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the second half of the Thursday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show here on AM 830 WCRN. You can join the conversation for the remainder of the hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. And reminding you that after at 2 o'clock, Frankie Boyer does come your way, and just incredible information about your health. I got to tell you, I always end up stopping at the health store on the way home. So it's kind of crazy. 508-871-7000. Let's go to the phones. First, we'll take Mark and then Ken. Mark up first. What say you, Mark?
I was listening to the Kuna Man this morning on the AM Drive, RKO.
Mm-hmm.
That's the source. That's the source, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, he told his audience, which includes me, that he's hearing through his sources and through the grapevine that Mr. Zelensky, president of, the alleged president of Ukraine, because his tenure ran out and he never held another election. I don't know what that's all about. I guess he's a dictator, right? So anyways, Zelensky has, he really pulled the boner if this turns out to be correct, that he shut down Donald Trump's Truth Social website in all of Ukraine. He blocked it. Have you heard that?
No, I did not hear that, and I haven't heard a thing
well,
about that.
anyways, it's a rumor, but it's flying around the internet right now. But if in fact he has shut down Trump's Truth Social in the Ukraine, all I can say is that ain't the smartest thing you ever did, President Zelensky, or alleged President Zelensky.
It's the stupidest thing the man could have done.
Oh my God.
Mark, thanks.
so anyway.
I did not hear that, but I will go searching for news on that. That's incredible.
All right, have a good one.
Thank
See
you,
later.
Mark. Wow. What were you thinking, Zelensky? Maybe that's explaining Trump's attitude towards him a little bit. That would actually connect the dots pretty well. 508-871-7000. Let's go to the phones again. Ken's been waiting patiently. Hey, Ken, what say you?
Yeah, Joe, just to follow up on Mark, you're a censor. What's the... I know, it's the wrong person to censor, but...
I'm sorry, say that again. What did you hear that rumor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have not heard this. What a stupid thing for him to do, and why? I mean, look, when he canceled the elections to keep himself in office, why were all these Democrats still so like pro? Nobody complained about it. Well, at the same time, they're telling us that they have to protect democracy because Trump's going to become a dictator, and here's their darling of the Ukraine war canceling the elections and keeping himself in office.
Yeah, and apparently he's got a competitor who has sort of the opposite size that he has. So maybe, he is scared of losing his office. And, let's be serious. If he did have the backing of the public, which they say, he's got 57% approval rating. Well, then have the election, prove it, and you'll be stronger.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the 57% isn't accurate.
And very, very seldom would I mean, I couldn't imagine us electing a guy out of office as long as he was eligible for a second term in the middle of a war, unless we think they're responsible for it, I guess. But Jesus, this
somehow
is not a
Lincoln
good
and
look.
FDR got through.
Yeah. I if this thing is true, if he shut down Truth Social, I'm surprised if it did that Trump hasn't made reference to it yet. Maybe he's just sitting on it.
Well, it could be that the things he said is in response.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whatever reason he doesn't
Now,
have that directly.
if that's what Zelensky did, Trump's cold shoulder or attitude towards Zelensky right now makes a lot more sense, right? Taking him out. I mean, and he said the other day, "Oh, Zelensky's, I should be at these negotiations." You've had 3 years. You've been at the table, and you've got nowhere.
Well, and it didn't help. It didn't help that he admitted to not knowing where $100 billion went.
Yeah, this is, and then now he's saying that it didn't come. The numbers that we're saying we've sent, and it's not all cash, folks. By the way, I mean we sent equipment and other types of resources and things that they need, but it still cost us, and we sent cash, or money. And now he's saying that the number that we sent isn't what he received. So you're telling me money went missing in transit?
Pretty cheeky.
Well, no,
You know?
Joe. One of the suspicions is that the equipment was sold off.
I
here's
have no doubt that there was a complete uptick in the black market, Ken.
Including the drug traffickers in Mexico.
So we ended up arming the cartels that we just designated terrorists.
Yeah. It's just a few holes in the bucket. That's all. Come on. And
if it wasn't for Trump, Ken, all of this would still be going on unknown about, right? The light wouldn't be on it. Shining light on this is the disinfectant. It's going to make the cockroaches scramble.
a few other quick ones. Schumer, you were right. That was the 6 ways from Sunday.
And by the way, someone texted on the text line. It was Sam Friedman.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam Bankman-Fried. That's it.
There you go.
That's it. Sam Bankman-Fried. So the Texas said Friedman. And he's fried. Now he's fried, not free. Yeah, Friedman. That was it.
And with the Patel information, do the Epstein list come out today or tomorrow?
Yeah, I know, right? Right. And I think, yeah, we're going to get that. And I have notes. I'm going to talk about the JFK files too, by the way. I don't know.
And then
I won't have
another
enough
real
time
quick
today.
one.
Yeah.
Is McConnell has less than 2 years left to serve.
Yeah, he's not running for re-election. He's going to.
Now, did you catch how I worded that?
No, say again.
See, he announced his retirement, but I'm saying he has less than 2 years to serve.
Oh.
Because I have doubts that he survives.
Yeah.
Till 2027.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of health issues. Yeah. But at least he's announcing, so that means everybody, can make the plans to be running.
Well,
and if you're smart, you're gonna gear up today.
It may have been triggered by an announcement that there was a Republican in Kentucky that is going to run for the seat. So that may have prompted his announcement.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been a horrible way for him to go. I think it's been 7 terms, right? I think this is his 7th term. So 40 something. Yeah.
So it goes back to about 84 or 88 or somewhere there now.
That's a long. Our founding fathers would be rolling in their graves. This is not what they intended, which comes back to what I was saying. I don't know if it was yesterday's show, the day before, that there's a bill out there that obviously isn't going to get anywhere, but it would include that they don't get their own retirement fund; they get Social Security like everyone else. That and some people don't want any retirement. You go do a term or two, and you go back to your business. You go serve in Congress like you're serving a public service. That's what it was meant to be, and that you don't, you can't have. We got to put term limits on this. I know the founding fathers didn't do it, but they didn't do it with the president either. But we put that in place because we needed to, and we need to. Ken, if we had 2 terms in the Senate, right, and maximum 4 terms in the House, maybe 6, maybe 12 years in either one, maximum, we would have constant new blood. Now, there's something to be said for institutional memory, right? You don't want a whole new freshman Congress every couple of years, but it's staggered, and you do 4-6 years in the House. You can do 2 terms in the Senate, but that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And get some new ideas in there. We got people. I mean, look, I think Doge has only scratch the surface. Right. Wait till we get into the Pentagon. Wait till they get deeper into the IRS. Yeah.
Joe,
Just wait.
you've mentioned Social Security today and a few other days also.
Yeah.
I've seen a chart that had a count of 20 million aged 100 and older.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if it's actually 20 million people,
No, I mean, if somebody dies at 101 or 102, it's on the news. It's on the feed, like it's on X. They mention it on the news, right? I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, granted, we're getting more and more people are living over 100, but not millions.
so I'm guessing other than 20 million, it's 20 million checks annually.
Mm.
That would still get you down about 1.5 million people over the age of 100.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder then that they have an estimate of $70 billion of fraudulent checks going out to just Social Security. Gee, I wonder why the administrator quit.
And yeah, like I said, the search for criminal defense lawyers has spiked inside Washington ever since Trump got sworn in. People are starting to get their crap together, right? But I got to tell you, this Social Security, it's always been a real pet peeve with me because it is not tax money. It's the money that we're paid into it. They've raided it. They've stolen from it. And now they're paying people who have no business getting paid out of that fund. If you want to pay SSI and you want to pay illegals, which of course there's an executive order that just said stop paying for any of this, then Social Security would be healthy. It would be in better shape. But we look at the corruption, and all of these people can. If you've been collecting grandma's check, and if you're one of these people that it's going into your account for the 220-year-old person, that's a generational thing. I mean, you have to pass that scam on down to your kids, right? So that all of those people need to go to jail. And all of these contractors who have been getting paid erroneously because they never stopped the contract payment, and you've been collecting a check for 5-10 years on a contract you had back then, and it was over, and they keep sending you a check, and you keep cashing it, and you keep living off of that, they need to go to jail, not just pay the money back. People need to go to jail so that everybody understands if you are frauding Social Security or the government contract system.
And restitution.
Yes, on top of it. Absolutely have to pay it back with interest, but they all need to go to jail. It can't be just paying it back. But that's the way it's going to be. And a final word, Ken, before I let you go? We're against the clock.
Somebody who is opposing Doge, just give them these examples. You support that?
Yeah.
What's going on now?
It's crazy.
Geez, why didn't Biden do something about that?
Yeah. All right, got to let you go, Ken. Thank you for the call. Always appreciate it. All right, folks, stick with us. We're going to take a third and final break here on the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. We'll come back with our fourth and final segment. Back in 2 and 10, folks.
Looking for guidance as you face a future on Social Security? It's hard to figure out on your own, but MedicareAdvisors.com is a completely independent insurance agency specializing in Medicare insurance planning. We work with the top insurance companies so we can offer our clients the best coverage for them. We design plans with a focus on low costs, which we combine with personalized insurance advice aimed at helping our clients make better informed decisions. Russ Swallow is a certified senior advisor and a licensed insurance advisor. He's been helping clients with their health insurance needs since 1970. And after a failed attempt at retirement, he created the Medicare Advisors in 2014. Russ concluded that since Medicare is health insurance, he might as well put his almost 50 years of health insurance experience to good use, as 75,000 people reach age 65 in Massachusetts every year, and they can use some help. Call Russ today at 508-831-0805. Put his years of personal experience to work for you as you try to unravel the complexities of Social Security.
Are you tired of the Orwellian speech, the hypocrisy rampant throughout government and within the Beltway? I'm reminding you Talk Radio is the immune system to the partisan bias, political rhetoric attacking us on a daily basis. Get inoculated. Tune in to Joe Mangiacotti on WCRN 830 AM, where common sense meets common ground. Joe is the conservative voice with a twist, blending a constitutionalist's respect for our founding principles with a libertarian's drive for freedom. He's got a unique style that's half constitutionalist, half common sense, and all about empowering you. Just listen to his callers.
Joe, I have to tell you first, I've listened to you a couple of times on your own show here, and I have to tell you, I enjoy listening to you. You have some really good, intelligent, cogent thoughts rather than just the constant monologue of conservative talk that sometimes we get wound up in.
Joe's even-tempered, intelligent approach cuts through the clutter and dives into the issues that matter to you. Join Joe Mangiacotti for Common Sense Conversation for the Common Sense Citizen and discover how logic, truth, and a calm voice can change minds, even those who might disagree at first. It's not just talk, it's a movement. Catch Joe Mangiacotti, WCRN 830 AM.
Wow, I'm embarrassed. All right, folks, welcome back to the fourth and final segment here on the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. 508-871-7000 if you can join the conversation for the remaining minutes of the hour here. You know how I talked about that Project Veritas and the kid got busted? He was talking about it felt like throwing gold bars off the Titanic. Woo! Well, here we are diving into another example of huge government waste, but the corruption on this, right? Biden administration funneled $2 billion, yes, with a B, to a climate group linked to Stacey Abrams. I don't know does this woman have Polaroids of people? I don't know.
2.8. It's almost 3.
Yeah, it's over $2 billion. And the thing about it wasn't just a routine grant, right? This money was stashed away outside of the EPA's control. They parked it at Citibank before Biden left. So right there, executives or somebody at Citibank has got to go to jail. And the key issues here. So it's a shell game with your tax dollars. The EPA administrator, the new one, Lee Zeldin, who used to be a congressman from New York and ran for governor, did pretty well, but it's New York, folks. He discovered that this group, Power Forward Communities, they had $100 for revenue in 2023. Yet it was awarded $2 billion plus in taxpayer money. Funny, because just the other day, I was saying all of these NGOs and organizations that are getting all of this money, can we know who is responsible for spending the money and when were they created? So if you were on the inside of the Biden power cabal here, you go set up an NGO or some charity and they give you hundreds of millions, of billions in this case, on the way out the door.
As long as the big guy gets his piece.
10%. That's it. I'll give you 10% of $2 billion all day long. Not a problem. So Zeldin finds this money over at Citibank, parked there. And the organization connected to Abrams, $100. This screams fraud, favoritism, political payoffs. $20 billion in hidden funds. This $2 billion is just a fraction. See, of the $20 billion, the Biden administration EPA quietly moved before leaving office. We found the gold bricks that the kid was talking about. There they are. It takes a lot of bricks to get to 20 billion. I know gold's about to hit $3,000, but that's still a lot of weight. Why was the money deliberately placed outside of the government oversight? They literally parked it in banks. What else is hiding in this slush fund? Zeldin has confirmed this was an attempt to prevent a future administration, i.e. Trump's administration, from clawing back the money if they parked it outside. And this isn't a case of deep state obstruction, then what is it? Abrams was one of Biden's biggest defenders, even when Democrats were panicking over his reelection chances. In July of 24, she told Democrats, stop the Biden doom loop. In the very next month, her group was awarded this massive grant. Right? Yet we have Mayor Adams ask for some help and saying we can't handle all of this migrants, and he gets indicted. So is this a coincidence, or was the Biden rewarding a loyal ally in the whole process here? This money is supposedly for decarbonizing homes. Decarbonizing homes. I don't know what that means. Okay, pin in that. We'll come back to that. But who is actually benefiting? We already know that these programs are used to enrich connected activists, right? Not every day, Americans. That's not who you have to be connected. You have to be this activist. You got to be involved with the NGO, or you've got to have one of those initials next to your name, an L, a G, a B, a T, a Q, an A, whatever.
Like fascismo in old Italy.
Yeah. How much of this money will actually reach low-income communities versus getting pocketed by bureaucrats and activists, unelected bureaucrats, by the way? So what's the call to action? The American people deserve answers on this. Congress, will they investigate this misuse of funds? Well, Doge is on the scene now. And this is the thing that kills me. When the Congress people, the Democrats that are coming, and some Republicans who have a problem with Doge, and why do they get to do this? And at the same time, they're saying, you don't get to do this. We're Congress. We're the purse. Yes, that's the point. All of this corruption and fraud has been happening for decades from the purse. Why haven't you stopped it? Why has it gone on? Why haven't you looked into it? We have heard politicians talk about, Barack Obama did it, George Bush did it, Bill Clinton did it. They all did it. And they did some ceremonial, just casual stuff to justify it. But nobody taken a sledgehammer and scalpel to it like Doge and Elon Musk is doing on behalf of President Trump. So will Congress investigate the misuse of funds? They really haven't before. Now they're being forced to, right? They had to make the Doge subcommittee. Will there be real accountability? Or will this just disappear into the usual Washington swamp? As long as Elon Musk has energy and enthusiasm, it's not going anywhere, folks.
Well, he has the ear of the president.
Yes, I'm telling you, we have the president, the vice president, and the first presidential sidekick. And Elon Musk is his Robin to Batman here. So the Trump administration, they have to act swiftly. They have to claw these funds back and prevent future abuses. That's the other part of this.
Holy cheaters.
Yeah, holy cheaters, man. They have to get Pow Zing, right? They have to get the money back, claw it back, and then we have to put better checks and balances in. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea that the Treasury has to put read-only, of course, our checkbook online. That if you want to go see what money's going out, where your tax dollars are going, you should be able to see it. I feel that falls under public information. And if the Biden administration gets away with this, I'm back to all of these people, the Social Security scammers, the contract scammers, all these people have to start going to jail. And now that Kash Patel is the FBI director, and you got Pam in there, you will. They have to. The consequences have to be there. The risk has got to be greater than the reward. They got to know that it's not the old days, that you could take government checks knowing you don't deserve them for years and nobody was coming looking for it and nobody was going to prosecute you. They got to know this. And the only way they're going to know this is when some of these people are in prison for 24 months, 38 months, whatever it is. This is why we fight for limited government, because big government breeds corruption. Can't help it. It's going to exist. We got to have stronger checks and balances. We got to have more audits. The Pentagon has never passed an audit. Why do we let them continue to lose billions of dollars every year if they can't pass an audit? This is exactly why we need transparency and accountability when it comes to taxpayer money, because the government has none. That money is our money taken from us to run what we need them to run for the common good, mostly defense, including the borders.
Not a laundry.
And exactly. Or to redistribute it to Democratic causes or corrupt politicians. And another thing that, came up with this Fort Knox, and it was a tweet or an X, whatever we call it, to Elon. Hey, can you check to see if that $400 billion of gold is still in Fort Knox? And I thought about that. I said, yes. How often do we? It could be absolutely cobwebs and mice down there, and we wouldn't know it. It's not like you can go take a tour and see $500 billion of gold hanging around at Fort Knox, right? Good question. Is every ounce that's supposed to be at Fort Knox actually at Fort Knox? That's a good question. So what do you think? Should the government seize the money back? Of course they should. Of course they should. We're against the clock. I wanted to get into more on the Ukraine, but also the JFK files. So those are out. This is crazy what's coming out on this, right? 50 years, newly declassified intelligence. Leaks confirm that JFK assassination was a military intelligence coup and not the act of a lone gunman. So the documents were never meant to be seen by the public, of course, and they reveal an intricate web of cover-up, deleted evidence, orders from the highest levels of government. So JFK's policies directly threaten the power structure of the globalist banking elite and intelligence agencies, and so was Donald Trump. Hence, a couple assassination attempts with really interesting encrypted message platforms on their phones and travel to foreign countries. So, again, we half joked about it during the campaign. And sure enough, he took one bullet and was being set up to take another one on a golf course. And Kennedy, he moved to dissolve the Federal Reserve and return the U.S. to a gold-backed currency. That was Executive 11110. And within 6 months of signing that, he was dead. And Lyndon Johnson immediately reversed course, keeping the Federal Reserve in control of the money. There was a Fed hit memo. And this lends credibility to the proof of economic sabotage and assassination planning. So the Federal Reserve memo of 1963, labeled Directive Alpha, warned that JFK's economic policies could cause irreversible change to U.S. monetary control. And the memo was circulated among Wall Street elites and CIA officials, highlighting the urgent need to limit the situation. And I'm quoting that. Weeks later, JFK was assassinated. So is it CIA's Covert Death Squad? Operation Execute. But folks, I'm against the clock. We can get more into the JFK, but I'll be back Monday at 1 o'clock. Frankie Boy is coming up at 2 o'clock. The Carr Brothers will join you tomorrow afternoon. A great show. The two brothers, they'll talk to you about all your car questions, so check that out. All right, folks, have a fantastic weekend. Meet you back here Monday at 1. Joe out.